Hello again, Kendopolis. This is Dr. Kendo, and I'm here for another video in this series, which is the Scribblenauts Unlimited Object Editor Commentaries. And so this is where I just basically create your favorite characters in the Scribblenauts Unlimited Object Editor, which is only available on the Wii U and PC versions of this game. We started off with a rectangle as the source object, and then put a tube top down here after typing that in. That's going to go over the rectangle mostly, but you can see a little bit popping out the top. It's not super important. You could cover the whole thing up if you wanted to, but then go to the color pattern library after pressing that paintbrush down there at the bottom middle of the screen. And on the 11th page in the bottom right corner, there is that basket weaving looking pattern right there. And I went over that with like a gray or a white just to make it a little bit kind of off and less yellow. All of this is going to be for today's creation, which is Exotic Butters.
Exotic Butters.
From FNaF. And so we just typed in a baboon and grabbed the end of the tail, very last piece of the tail for the top right there of the gift basket, and a golem. We can take that shoulder piece, that's going to be sort of for the middle of the bow that's in here, with a minus sign to be actually for all the little different flare outs of the ribbon for the bow, I guess, on this gift basket. And the reason that the baboon's tail looks sort of like wonky right now is actually because it's just getting covered up. So here, now that we're kind of covering it more with the various minus sign pieces for this bow on the Exotic Butters gift basket,
Exotic Butters.
it's going to look a little bit better now with the bow covering up that kind of oddly shaped end of the baboon's tail. You know, it's not just one straight line with the same proportions all the way throughout. But of course, you can basically see that there was 2 minus signs on the top on each side, so that makes 4, and then 2 minus signs on the bottom on each side, which makes another 4, and then the main minus sign ribbons that are kind of in the middle, but a little bit diagonal facing. That all made the detail in the bow, and the letter I was for the rest of the strap of the ribbon going all the way around. Hopefully you then noticed, as we're starting off kind of the butters that are in the basket, the main shape for most of the butters is going to be this rectangular prism, so you're going to need to type that in if you're playing in Scribblenauts Unmasked, but in Scribblenauts Unlimited, of course, you can just go to the Geometry Shapes library and grab it from there. And a tofu is actually for the butter that is all the way to our right. It's on the left side of the gift basket if you were the gift basket. But you can see a whole bunch of these rectangular prisms, basically 4 of them in there right now, but then 2 other tofu stamps are going to be placed to our left side, kind of in the back, so they're mostly hidden. All of the butters aren't standing the exact same height and everything like that, so getting the good details, of course, coloring in the shading for them, because the rectangular prism, each face of the shape, you can actually put a different color into it. So you notice that there was some light yellows, some dark yellows, and just a little bit of detail in there, you know, so we didn't just make it all one straight yellow color. But anyway, here when I'm doing the properties editing part of the video, I like to read background information and fun facts about whatever we're creating. So today, of course, that would be Exotic Butters.
Exotic Butters.
Which is an item that can be obtained on Night 5 of FNaF Sister Location. Hand Unit claims to be giving you a reward out of your own paycheck for doing exceptional work after Night 5. With the common shaky keypad that players all know and love from all of the previous nights where you used it, obviously you're unable to actually type what you really want to be in the gift basket, and thus the autocorrecting leads to Exotic Butters.
Exotic Butters.
And Exotic Butters is now everywhere.
Exotic Butters.
I don't even know that this is actually the most popular request for real after last episode, because people are just leaving comments that just say Exotic Butters everywhere.
Exotic Butters.
On various YouTube videos, and even making accounts where they call themselves Exotic Butters.
Exotic Butters.
But hey, that's all why I just decided to make Exotic Butters as an episode separate and quick, away from my usual Sunday uploading schedule. But you know what's interesting is I've thought about Exotic Butters and realized it's basically the Utapam of Five Nights at Freddy's. Utapam! For those who don't know, I've used a stamp called Utapam in several videos, where I could easily have just typed in tortilla or naan, and my subscribers loved how it sounded, because it obviously sounds a bit goofy, and so then I just ended up basically screaming it or saying it in weird ways after those fateful days. But yes, look here, we made the Exotic Butters, of course, in the scripting to be a container, so you can empty it out, and of course it drops a butter from there. But then I've also scripted it to where when it's emptied, this object will create an object object, which is a yellow butter, just so that there's different kinds of butters in there. They're all exotic butters, right? So this is going to be also somewhat interesting of a thing we can do. I made it actually be that it is it's able to have a projectile of butters. And so if you just type in butter and do shoot under the weapon or whatever, we're going to make this evil strong man actually brave, because otherwise he's going to run away from me while I've got this butter gun gift basket, basically, because if you use it to attack, then it's going to do this. It's kind of like a 4-shot burst fire right there. And yeah, so we're just basically attacking this man. I probably should have made the damage a little higher or made the man not super strong. Let's fast forward a bit here. All right, this guy's going down. He's almost gone. There we go. He's almost dead. There we go. Exotic butters for the win. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Of course, this is just a very quick episode. And as I mentioned before, if you're one of those who just hates Five Nights at Freddy's stuff, this is an episode outside of the Sunday upload, because I always upload everything on Sundays. So I'm just giving people a little bit extra here. If you don't like FNaF, don't watch this and just come on Sunday like usual, because you'll get a non-FNaF Scribblenauts video based on whatever is most popular or most requested, because that's how I choose objects each week. So whatever you guys leave in the comments that ends up being the most popular across all of my videos by the most amount of different people, then that's what we'll do. So until next time, I'll catch you on the next vid, and thanks for viewing.
Down the road of twists and turns, always anxious to see what's within. We can look ahead to the point of no return, to the rest of our lives as the spectacle begins. Been down the road of twists and turns, always anxious to see what
Exotic butters.